Hello, folks. All right, I'm just changing my pen color. I don't like red. Let's see, blue. Here we go. So today we're going to talk about density and how to calculate density and give you some examples of how to calculate density so you guys can have a better shot at doing some of the homework problems that will be assigned to you later on this week. So density is defined as mass divided by volume. So D is the density. Whoops, lost my pen. Here we go. There we go. So this is going to be density, mass in grams divided by volume in milliliters. This is good for solids and liquids. And only for solids and liquids. So density is mass over volume. Now for gases, it's grams over liters. Because of the density so small, this is a better way to list the units of gases, the density of gases. So be careful. If we're doing a solid and liquid, we're in grams per milliliter. If we're using gases, it's grams per liter. So mass has to be in grams. Volume has to be in milliliters. Or you may see centimeter cubed. This is centimeter cubed is equivalent to 1 milliliter. And this is sometimes some solids are given this parameter of centimeters cubed. Both solid and liquids are milliliters, but sometimes you'll see this as centimeters cubed. Okay, hopefully this is fine. This is understandable. If not, let me know. Give me questions at the end of the video. So let's look at the first one. But solving basic problems. So density is equal to mass over volume. That's a V. No. And if some of you might have seen this triangle, that density times volume is equal to mass. I think this is the right triangle. So mass divided by density is volume, and mass divided by volume is density. So you got all these. I think that's how that triangle works, but hey, you guys probably hit this before. So our volume is in milliliters, object is in grams, so we're looking for the density. So the density is equal to 234 divided by 45.3. So if we look at the units, now we're going to talk about this next week, but when we've got grams per milliliters, this is what our units like. Units are multiplied with the number, not added, so that we can actually break them apart and look at this in two different ways. So this is what we're looking for, grams per milliliter. This is good. So we get our calculators out, use your phone or your computer. 234 divided by 45.3, and you should get a number of 5.16. If I go out a couple more digits, it's going to be 556. Now, I don't want all these numbers. For what I would love to see is go 3 digits. And we'll talk about significant figures and significant digits in the next couple of chapters, but round this to 5.17. Round to this one. And this is grams per milliliter. Hopefully that makes everything sense. We are kind of doing this first. If you give me 5.16, I'll accept that for this problem set only, because we haven't had the significant figures yet. So we're giving you guys a little bit of leeway as we're learning this first couple of subjects. Okay. Now we're going to calculate mass. So what we're going to do is we'll start with the equation. Density is equal to mass over volume. We want mass. We have density. We got volume. We have density. So this is a simple problem. There's not much meat or descriptive in there. Some of the problems you're going to come across later in problem sets will have descriptions to the problems, giving you an idea of what's actually going on. and we're gonna make this alloy, or we're trying to use this alloy for something, and it gives you a background of what to expect and what kind of answer you should have, what equation to use, even though you may not use the information in that sentence. So this is why we do a lot of word problems. It's not just here's the equation and here's the numbers. It is delving into the problem, figuring out what you need to know. So density is mass over volume. Now, there's two ways to do it. I'm going to show you my preferred way, which is dealing with the variables first, then inputting the numbers. Some of you guys like the other way, input the numbers and figure out figure out the variables. Both are correct. I just want to point that out. Both are correct. I just do this one because this is what I like to see. If you do it the other way, putting the numbers in first in your problem set, that is correct. I'm not going to count off wrong when I see the work on the test. So what I'm going to do is we're looking for mass. We got volume in the denominator on the right hand side. Let's multiply both sides by volume. And so if we multiply both sides by volume, it'll be density times volume, and then volume cancels and be equal to mass. This is what we're looking for. Now if we look at the units, density is grams per milliliter, and we're going to multiply by volume. Milliliters cancel, and we end up with grams. So that's what we're looking for. So we know if we do this right on the calculator, we should end up with the correct result. 35.4 milliliters times 7.85 grams per mils, and we should get the mass. And the mass is, if we do this on the calculator, 35.4 times 7.85, and that's going to be 277.89 grams. If you want to say 278 grams, that will be fine. I'll accept either one. All right. Now and we'll talk about the problem sets in a minute. Last one, provided volume. Now, of course, let's go back again. Here's our equation. Density is equal to mass over volume. And this is going to be a bit, in dealing with the variables, we have volume. We're missing volume, which is in the denominator. So let's go ahead and multiply both sides by V. I'm going to show it like this. Volumes cancel. So V times D is equal to M. Then let's go ahead and multiply by density to move it over to the other side. So volume is left by itself, which is what we're looking for, and mass is over density. And this is, if we use this equation, we should end up with figuring out what the volume is. Now let's look at the units. So volume is equal to mass is the unit of grams, and then density is grams per milliliter. Now this step confuses students. What you don't want to do is grams, then grams per mil, and that is not correct. It's going to be, this is in the denominator, you inverse the fraction, so it'd be grams over times milliliters, move that up top, times grams, grams cancel, and we end up with milliliters as our answer, as our unit, and that should, if we do this everything correctly, we should get the correct answer for volume. So volume is equal to, we got 252 grams divided by the density, 8.72. I'm not going to put the units in here. I already did those. 252 divided by 8.72. And the volume is going to be 28.899 milliliters, and probably 28.9. Both of these are acceptable, and we'll probably go with 3 unit digits on each one. So that's how you calculate the 3 types of densities. You will get an assignment. The last couple are going to be a bit more difficult, but you guys can do it. If you have any questions, write it down at the end in the Edpuzzle question at the end of this slide. Now, On the problem set, I want to go one thing on the problem set. You can redo without penalty. So what happens is that if you make a mistake and it says you're wrong, take a look at it. And if you figure out what you did wrong, you can resubmit, go back, redo all the answers and change it, and hit submit again. I'll take the highest score out of the whole bunch. Sometimes you say, well, I'm within, if you put in 5.43 and the answer is 5.45, I'm going to give that to you. I'm going to accept that. So just, and if you go through and said, okay, I'm going to leave it, and I actually don't accept it, you got a chance to go back and fix it. I'm giving you plenty of reasons to go back and learn how to fix your mistakes. And this is a part of learning, folks. And I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll talk more about this later.